Coach, good evening. First of all, Coach, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling fine, Joseph. We tested 4 days last week. Monday, 3 required days, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. We all tested negative Monday. We all tested negative Wednesday. On Thursday, Kellen popped positive. And then we went back through the contact tracing with our doctors and John. And then they called me and told me that I was contact traced. And I said, okay, I don't want to put anybody in jeopardy. What's to say, I want to do everything that's by the rules, follow all the protocols, do what's safe for our kids. And they told me that I would miss, I would have to sit out 2 games. So Kellen's going to be out 10 days. He'll be back the day before Central Florida, I think on that Monday. And I'll be back the day before Rice. So I miss tonight, and I'll also miss Wednesday against Sam Houston State.
I can't imagine, Coach, that you've missed many games through your career. What was this one like? And then to see how your kids battled back there, especially in the second half, to pull out this win.
No, I've never missed a game, and it was miserable. I mean, it was miserable. I'd rather wrestle a porcupine than have to do that again. I mean, it was just miserable. I was on the phone with Kellen. I think I hung up on him 30 times. I snapped at Karen. I don't know how many times. I just went outside. It was miserable. But I was proud of our team. I was proud of our Coach Quantis and our staff. Proud of our guys for stepping up second half, especially Quentin and Tremont. But there was a lot of minutes out there in that second half where we had three freshmen, Jamal Shedd, Tremont Mark, and who was the other one? J1 Roberts. Dejan was in foul trouble. Bryson was in foul trouble. It was just, our culture. It was a great culture win. I hope you guys don't get tired of me saying that, but that's what we've built here. We've great culture. And when I talked to the guys before the game, I said, you don't have to win the game, but our culture does. And I thought that second half was a great indicator of that.
I don't see any other hands. Anybody else have a question? Please let me know. Raise your hand. Speak up. I think Chris Gardner. Chris, go ahead.
Coach, were you able to talk to the team at halftime or anything like that before the game? Any discussion?
Yeah, I talked to him before the game, and I had a little something to say at halftime as well.
Any pros?
But I thought Quantis did a great job of landing the plane tonight. That wasn't an easy game to coach. It wasn't an easy circumstance to coach in. I can't tell you how proud I am of, the fact that he's a former player and he's now one of my assistants, and I've been with him now for over 20 years in this relationship. My buttons are just popping. I don't know who I'm more proud of, Quantis and our staff or the players. When you look over there and you see Marcus Sasser, who's our leading scorer, Caleb Mills, who's obviously can be the leading scorer. You got both of those guys out. You look up, you're up 16 against South Carolina. And again, I obviously I want to give all the credit to the culture that we've established here, but can't tell you how proud I am of Coach Q and KC, Coach Brooks. Coach Brooks is kind of the silent assassin on this staff. He does a tremendous job. Casey Beard, Hollis Price, another assassin, Mikhail McLean. Just a total great job by our staff. I mean, and they're going to have to turn around and do the same thing on Wednesday as well.
All right, thank you, Chris. We'll go to Chris Baldwin with Paper City Magazine. Chris, hopefully we can hear you this week.
Hopefully. Coach, Qantas called a timeout, less than 90 seconds into the half, and then there's went on a 14-2 run. Did you, would you have called that timeout? Did you sort of sense, why he was calling it and what was going on there?
Yeah. We've prided ourselves in, and so has Qantas when he was a player. He's seen that on both sides. He saw it as a player, and he's seen it as an assistant coach. And we don't hesitate there. We hold our guys to standards. We require them to play up to the standards that we set for this program. And there's a big difference in playing hard versus competing. And they finished the half playing hard, and they've started the half playing hard. But they didn't compete at any point in the first half, and they sure didn't compete to start the second half. And Coach Q called timeout to remind him of that. And I thought it was a tremendous timeout by him. The timing was great. And I can only imagine what he said in the huddle, but the kids responded. And I think that's the sign of great respect on both sides.
All right, thank you, Chris. We'll go to Mark Berman. Please, Mark, go ahead.
Kelvin, glad to hear you're doing okay. For what you went through tonight, watching this game, will that better prepare you for dealing with missing on Wednesday or not really?
I was telling Karen during the game, I said, I don't know how I'm going to be able to handle this when Kellen starts coaching. I said, I might just need to take an Ambien and something else and just pass out. I couldn't believe how disheveled I was. I was, you talk about foot of horseback. I was lost. I literally hung up on Kellen 10 times, but I just real proud of our guys. Number one, number two, we'll meet as a staff. I'm in quarantine. I'm not in isolation. I tested negative 4 times last week. Kellen tested positive twice. We tested the second time to make sure it was it wasn't a false positive, but it wasn't. So he's in isolation, but I'm in quarantine. So I can go around our guys. I just can't get close to them, I just can't get around big crowds. So we'll meet as the staff in the gym. We cannot go to our film room and be in close quarters, but we can be in an open space, and we'll just go through the film. We'll talk about it. I asked Qantas what he saw, and Coach Brooks, Hollis, KC. I'll ask all the assistants. I'll ask them what they saw, and what do we need to go forward with from that game. Obviously, we're still early in the season. There's a lot of things that we need to work on. We've played 3 games. Tonight was number 4. So, but the game on Wednesday night's chance to, and it's number 5 and chance for us to go get better. But at some point we got to do a better job of putting 2 halves together.
All right, we'll go back to Joseph Duarte, please. Joseph, go ahead.
Kelvin, it was a nice moment here after the game. Qantas went up to his family and gave his kid the game ball. I know you've had a lot of wins in your career. You gonna take this win, or are you gonna give this one to Qantas for his coaching record?
I couldn't hear that, Joseph.
The coaching record in this one. You gonna give this one to Qantas, or you?
I don't know how that works.
I believe they said it goes on your record.
Well, then that's what it does.
No, the first part you didn't hear, after the game, he gave his family the game ball. It was a really nice moment here.
Well, that ball's 37.95. But I don't know whether to put that on his bursar account or to just get it in cash. No, that's that's not an easy job that Quantas did tonight. You know, if he loses the game, everybody's going to blame him, which they should not. But winning the game, I'm sure, is a huge relief off him, and deservedly so. But let's not forget to give those other guys on that bench, Alvin Brooks and KC. Quantas was my point guard, you know, and the reason why I asked Quantas to do it was because I think Quantas's record in 2 years was 59 and 11. You guys can check me on that. He's a winner, and I think he's going to be a terrific head coach one day too.
All right, we got time for one more question. We'll go back to Chris Baldwin, and this will be it with Coach Sampson. Chris, go ahead, please, sir.
Coach, what makes, Tremont Mark, such a natural scorer, and his ability to get to the line, especially early, and then Quentin getting to the line a lot, later?
Yeah, he's that's a good observation, Chris. He's been doing that since he's been a youngster. And when I meet with these kids individually, I ask them to as coaches, we have to define their games for them. They just can't come in here and try to be 20 things. We said, the thing that we wanted him to get, the two things we wanted him to get better at was getting to the free throw line and being consistent with his three ball. No, he's not there with his three ball yet. He's got a ways to go. He can make a three, but that's not his strength. Like Armani Brooks and Corey Davis, that was a strength of both of theirs. Marcus Sasser is an outstanding shooter. We got some guys that can shoot it, but Tremont's going to get better as he goes. Let's not lose sight of the fact that he's just a freshman. But he's got a long body. He's almost 6'5", and he's got about a 6'8", 6'8 and a half, almost 6'9" wingspan. And when he gets in there, he's never out of control. You hardly ever see him drive and charge somebody. He plays off 2 feet when he's in the paint, and he has really good maneuverability. He moves the ball around and draws fouls, and that's something that we knew that we could take advantage of with Tremont. When Marcus and Caleb come back, Tremont, when they get back, Tremont, I'm sure will go back to coming off the bench, and that's okay. But when you got Tremont, if you got Tremont Mark or Marcus Sasser or Caleb Mills coming off the bench, then that tells you a little bit about your firepower.
All right, Coach, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. Take care. Get well. We're now joined by I can